Hi, I'm Hayward, and this video just got 100% more meta. Sorry, Proteus. Before we start today's battle, I'd like to talk to you briefly about a good cause. Get Well Gamers is a charity dedicated to providing a little happiness to sick kids with the gift of gaming. Get Well Gamers provides consoles and games to dozens of pediatric units and children's hospitals throughout the United States, and they need your help to put smiles on the faces of sick children everywhere. That's why we've teamed up with Get Well Gamers to offer a fantastic prize. If you donate $5 to Get Well Gamers, we will enter you into a raffle to win a Sega Saturn and a copy of Shining Force 3 to play on it. This contest will be open to everyone worldwide. Just go to the address at the bottom of the screen and make sure you put Shining Force 3 Raffle in the designation box. There are also second and third prizes, a Wii Points card so you can enjoy Shining Force 1 and 2 on the Virtual Console, and a copy of Shining Force Resurrection of the Dark Dragon to play on your Game Boy Advance or Nintendo DS. Thanks for listening, and feel free to post any further questions in the essay thread. And now, on with the battle. Wing Knights are the first and some of the only flying ranged attackers we will ever see in Shining Force 3. Alongside the usual mobility advantages gained by flying creatures, Wing Knights are particularly dangerous due to their unusually high attack power. Wielding spears, they can deal extra damage to swordsmen and, curiously, to Eldar as well. Aspia soldiers are hardy foes with exceptionally high defense. They are most effectively dealt with using magic and are particularly vulnerable to spark. Garzel is an Imperial general who is a solid tier of power below Spirial. Regardless of this, he is still a boss character and features particularly high defense. His poison attack is very effective, though has a low chance of occurring. He also shares the same unpredictable AI patterns as Spirial, so should be boxed in and immobilized as soon as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Let's Play Shining Force 3. This is Battle 15, I call it the Suspension Bridge, and here's a quick overview of what's going on. A lot of large rock outcrops in the middle of what appears to be the sky. I'm not entirely sure why, and there's a chest over there hidden around, and General Garzel's men at the end of a large suspension bridge. It's going to take us quite a while to get there, so I've made some rather large cuts in this particular battle. You'll be happy to hear this video is about 20 minutes long, whereas the battle is over 50. So trust me, you're not missing anything interesting. Most of this battle is wasted time moving around, and there's a couple of minor speed bumps in the form of Kaiser Guard, which I have skipped for your benefit. The interesting stuff is going to be happening momentarily. In the meantime, we need to clear out these mega loaders, who are proving to be even less of a threat than they were in the last battle, and then we might actually get onto something remotely dangerous in some form or another. Noon gaining level 2 there, which is always good because he gains freeze level 2. You might have noticed that Noon actually has had problems lately because of his lack of AoE ability. Well, now that has been rectified, and freeze 2 is a formidable spell indeed. Now, this new guy, he goes by the name of Justin, probably one of the characters I hate the most in this particular game. He's just not very good at what he does. He's an archer, but he moves incredibly slowly. As far as I'm aware, actually, I think he moves slower than Hayward, which makes no sense. And since he is a cavalry unit, he actually has serious issues in rough terrain. So there is no reason to keep Justin around in the Force, except for the fact, of course, that we're currently sitting on 12 characters, which is the Force limit. Once we gain another character, we will be getting rid of Justin. So enjoy him while you can. I don't really see any particular reason to keep him hanging around. He will show up again, of course, in the last battle, which will require the use of our reservist units, but until then, meh. Now, plot time, plot elements. We have fallen into the trap! We should fire the missiles. Hey, bombshell there. What is it with guys called Edmund that always seem to be the traitors? Either that or the guys at Camelot were looking through Western literature. It's like, hey, interesting. Right, we're going to do our translation. We need to come up with a name. Traitors, Oh, look, C.S. Lewis. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Let's pick that one. I suppose you can quote a lot of the characters to people from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe here. But yes, typical political strife. Oddly enough, this character does turn up in a playable form in Scenario 3 if you actually put together a certain set of objectives. I have no intention of doing that. At least I don't think so, but I mean, that's not a decision I'm going to have to make for a long time. You can get him. in Scenario 3 as to whether or not we'd want to, well, I don't know. Maybe I'll leave it up to you guys. And those are the Aspia soldiers. Yes, this is actually Republican soldiers, significantly better than the Kaiser Guard that we've been dealing with so far. They will be something of a threat, and of course I've prepared my units to deal with them. If you get surprised by this, which you will, of course, in the first playthrough, you can get absolutely and totally screwed. These guys can come in behind you and just take apart your weaker units before you can do anything about it. It's horrendous. I don't know why they put it in there. It was a clear dick move. But since we know what's going to be happening this time around, all will be good. And of course, the mandatory plot intervention of the characters we will no doubt see in Scenario 2. And you'll notice, of course, when we start playing through Scenario 2, that all of these mentioned battles, like say, hey, we'll go deal with these guys. Well, you actually do go and deal with these guys, which is a fantastic feature and something that is not done enough in modern RPGs. Okay, time we deal with these guys. They're mostly blocked in. The chances of one of them going around the side are slim, but it could happen. They do have exceptionally heavy armor. Way more so than anything else on this particular map, except, of course, for Garzel. Can be a little bit problematic. However, the way that they're deployed makes them incredibly vulnerable to AoE attacks, so we're going to be moving our mages in to deal with them momentarily. I'm still having issues with Eldar. Eldar does not scale very well, particularly if you're trying to train up the wings. Once we get to wings rank 2, things should be okay, but since Eldar only has wings rank 1 at the moment, she's not gaining the additional attack bonus. That, and for some reason she barely ever crits, which is odd. She crits way less than anyone else. I'm not sure why. It might just be incredibly bad luck. Eldar's someone worth investing in, though. I mean, she's one of the B-list characters as regards to power, but she is worth pumping power into just because the flying ability makes her exceptional in various different situations. I've seen a lot of players that actually use Eldar as not so much of a forward scout, as a forward assassin unit to jump on and kill individual units, particularly casters, before the remainder of the force gets there. And it works very well. Unfortunately, she does lack defense. Even with the Silver Wing, which adds a large amount of defense, she's still taking an awful lot of damage. Thankfully, we've boxed the soldiers in, so only one of them can actually access her. Damage-wise, they're not too great. They do use halberds, so they do additional damage to sword-wielding units, but they're not too much of a threat. The threat is if they get around the side, and we did have that issue, and I think we are going to have that issue momentarily, actually. You can see what... one of the ones at the end can flank around the rest of the force, and probably will. And there you go. Going straight around to deal with the healer. Unfortunately for him, of course, Khan has 24 HP and will not be dying today. Unnecessary crits, always one of the hallmarks of Haywood. Unfortunately, he's lagging behind a little bit. He hasn't had a bow upgrade in a while, which is not helping. The thing is, the next bow upgrade will give him an additional square's worth of range, which is incredibly useful. Obright, on the other hand, is doing very well, particularly because of his friendship bonus. You'll notice here, this is one of his new moves, the Boomer Throw. As to why this does extra damage, I don't know. Maybe it's the whole disemboweling thing he's got going on. Yeah, he's really starting to come into his own, which is good. Unfortunately, I haven't had the chance to skill up his actual axe, because later on in the game, his axe, as opposed to his hand axe, is going to be what we're going to be doing the damage with. Hand axes don't scale so well endgame, particularly because there are no A-rank hand axes until Scenario 3, if I remember correctly. The other ones are B-rank, and if you read my explanation of the ranking weapon system in the thread, you'd know that the A-ranking weapons scale up a lot better as you gain skill with them, as opposed to the B-ranking ones and the C-ranking ones, which give lesser bonuses every time you rank up. A lot of the weapons have that problem, particularly the secondary weapons, stuff like throwing axes, spears, and all that kind of thing. They have issues regarding, the amount of A-rank weapons that are available. Everyone has an A-rank weapon, but it's mostly made with orichalcum. It's actually pronounced all manner of different things because it wasn't properly translated. It's a rare material available in Scenario 3, which is great, except for the fact you've got to wait for that. And all of those are A-rank, and in most cases they're best in class. Fantastic use of Spark there, and a well-deserved level up for Mascarin, who has been waiting for that for a long time. Okay, we've dealt with that, so we're going to be skipping forward in just a moment. There really is no need to show you 20 minutes of walking around. Now, these new characters are Wing Knights, and we will see them every now and again. They are dangerous, as you can see clearly. They have a huge attack power in comparison, and they also have range and the ability to fly. Now, if you were to encounter these in any other situation, you'd be running into big problems because they can get over obstacles and bottlenecks that other characters can't. And of course, with range, that makes them doubly dangerous. Thankfully, they don't crop up all that often, and indeed, ranged flying creatures don't crop up all that often, particularly in Scenario 1. There's a few more in Scenario 3, which is considered to be the hardest of the three scenarios, which, of course, is fitting. Scenario 2, since it runs parallel to this most of the time, is actually about the same difficulty. Thankfully, the armor is not quite as good as you would expect, so dealing with these is not all that hard. I'm going to fly Eldar over here, as opposed to engaging the Wing Knights. The thing is, the Wing Knights do extra damage to Eldar. I don't know why. I remember one of my previous playthroughs actually said, okay, I'll use Eldar to engage them, and Eldar got two-shotted, which was incredibly unpleasant. Now, what I'm going to be using Eldar for here, which is what you have to use Eldar for in a number of different levels and different battles, is to go and grab a chest that is otherwise inaccessible, and it's got a very good item in it. Sadly, it's an item that we can't use yet, because a lot of the accessories, particularly at this point, they expect you to have promoted your characters, whereas we're not doing that. The reason, of course, for that is that we're trying to gain better statted characters in the long run. Also makes the game slightly tougher at this stage, which makes it more interesting to watch. Okay, time to skip forward to something that's interesting. He is a real git. But it's okay, because Garzel is the honourable man. Or not, as the case may be. Oh well. The whole prominence and tragedy of this entire scene is ruined by the boink. That and the can scream. I must point out that Shining Force 3 has a rather odd system in which no one that ever falls 300 feet into running rapids and waterfalls ever dies. So I wouldn't worry about it, you will see him again. Okay, time that we dealt with this. Now, this section particularly can be a real pain. Generally because of these master mages. It's another one of those very narrow areas where you can't get all of your forces to bear at any given time, and it can cause real issues. So we're trying to get rid of the master mages as quickly as possible, and then we will deal with everything else as it comes. To be honest, there isn't anything else there that's a massive threat. The Wing Knight can be a bit of a pain if you don't deal with him. Because of his ranged ability, he generally hangs behind Garzel in an otherwise inaccessible area and takes pot shots at your force. Garzel's the big threat here because of the sheer amount of damage that Garzel can actually do, but as per most of the boss fights up until now, he can only attack one person at a time, and as long as you can keep that person healed, you're alright. The issue lies with his unpredictable AI. Just like Spiriel, he will go for weaker characters as opposed to going for your actual leader or the person who's sitting directly in front of him. This is what I hope wouldn't happen, but generally does, one way or the other. The Master Mage hangs all the way back in an inaccessible area, then runs in and hits you with an AoE spell. It's not really a huge deal. Our healers are close behind. I don't see there being too many issues, and Garzel's already attacked this turn, so I don't think anyone's going to die instantly. But we really need to get that Master Mage out of the way to ensure that doesn't happen again. Unfortunately for him, it appears that he's not particularly concerned with his own safety and has run headlong into an area where he can get smacked about by Obright. As opposed to training the axe skill, I'm just going to use the hand axe here. It does more damage in this particular case, and I want the Master Mage out of the way as soon as possible, and I would think that Justin would be able to finish him off without an issue. This is actually the last time, if I remember correctly, that we will see the Megaloders. There are certain similar creatures that we will see in Shining Force Scenario 2 and 3, but I believe this is the last time we see anything like this in this particular scenario, which is kind of a shame, because they're pretty cool. Let's get this Master Mage out of the way, and that will clear the way for us to get rid of that Megaloder. And yes, we are going to have to get rid of it, because it is blocking off the entrance to that outcrop of rock there. And that's going to cause us huge issues, because we've only got 1 or 2 people that can really attack Garzel at this juncture. And with the Wing Knight plugging away from behind, that really doesn't help matters, especially if he gets a poison attack. That means Sybil will get killed. The problem with this engagement is a lot of it is spent wondering, well, is it really worth the risk trying to move one character in here and trying to shuffle your characters around so that you can get the most in range at any given time, as well as making sure that your healers are there as well. Bit of a pain. I think we've had enough with the spear, so it's time to go lance. Now, Garzel, being a swordsman, of course, is vulnerable to lancers.
Prepare to die.
And a nice opener there from Dantes, although not all that much damage, I must say. Garzel's defense is higher than everything else that we've seen so far, and it does show. Even deals a massive amount of damage to Dantes. It's fortunate that the poison attack is relatively rare in its occurrence. It is very dangerous, especially with the Wing Knight behind him. That could be very unpleasant. Now, one of the uses for Eldar, I don't want Eldar in range at this point in time, because she's going to get smacked about by the Wing Knight and by Garzel. However, she can be used as a flying healer in areas which are otherwise inaccessible. Very handy. Get the knife out, I think. It's not going to do much damage, but we might as well give Obright and Dantes the benefit of our friendship bonus. At this point, the friendship bonus is giving out way more benefits than any attacks actually would be from Kite's End. There we go, that's that cleared out of the way. Obright really doing a lot of damage now. He is benefiting, of course, from the friendship bonus, and that will only get better as the game goes along. Okay, we've cleared the way, but I don't really want to... don't think that's a very good idea, is it? So I'm going to keep Noon out of the way and use the opportunity to get Justin in there and start pegging away at that Wing Knight.
Take this.
He does have a very high crit rate, which is something that is pretty handy. I mean, it's not because he's a good character, it's because he uses crossbows, which have naturally high crit. I'm not even going to ask why the Wing Knight did that, but I'm alright with it, because Justin could have got smacked about there, so it's probably a good job that that happened. Taking unnecessary risks with a character that I really dislike, and has no friendship links with anyone else in the Force, so, well, who cares? Okay, that's him cleared out of the way. Now, it's simply a matter of boxing in Garzel and doing as much damage as we can, and keeping whoever he's attacking alive. Problem is, I'm not sure we're going to get the opportunity to move in. We're going to need 2 more tough characters to box Garzel in. I'm not sure we're going to get that opportunity before he is able to get his next attack. We'll see. Oh dear. Oh well, he's expendable, and nobody really likes him anyway. Bye-bye. Unfortunately, now he's moved into a position where we're going to need 4 characters to box him in, but we've got plenty of turns that we can take before he gets his next attack, so I don't see that being too big a deal.
Prepare to die.
Dante's really laying into him today. Not even doing all that much damage, though. Kind of sad, really. Garzel's most vulnerable to magic, but I don't want our magic users anywhere near him. Or Eldar, come to think of it. Let's get her out of the way. Eldar's criminally underleveled right now. It's not so good. I think in the next battle I'm going to make a concerted effort to get Eldar up to scratch. Now, Khan's got a lot of HP, but not a lot of defense, so I don't really want him in base-to-base contact. Might as well get Dantes back up to full health. You might not think it's relevant, but it would be if Garzel got off a poison attack. Does significantly more damage than a normal attack, as well as adding that nasty damage over time effect. Now, okay, we'll hit him with the knife. Yeah, that's really smart. Obviously not quite thinking there. Never mind. He's fulfilling the role of boxing Garzel in. Just need 2 more characters to pull that off. Oberite should fulfill that role relatively well. As to who the other one is, probably Sybil, I would imagine. Assuming we don't kill him before that. Now will be a really good time for one of those nice lucky crits, but no. Gotta do it in an inappropriate time when they've got 1 HP, so we can fire lasers at almost dead creatures. I have a sickening sense of humour that Hayward has, I must say. I don't know what to do with Noon here. Probably, just get him in there now. I really can't be bothered. It's not worth the hassle. I don't want to lose another character. Get Sybil to box him in and hopefully finish him off. Oh, not quite, but close enough. Don't tell me we're going to get yet another Irene boss kill. Yes, we are. My name has been TotalBiscuit. This has been Battle 15 of Let's Play Shining Force 3. Remember to get involved in the contest, the raffle for Get Well Gamers, to win yourself a copy of this game and a Sega Saturn, plus other awesome prizes. Check out the video at the start of this particular production to find out how to do that. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time.